Why we chase people. What happens when we chase? The turning point. Letting them go. Choosing yourself over approval. Story-driven expansion. Soul alignment. Powerful closing. Have you ever chased someone, not because you were lost, but because you thought they were the destination? You stayed up, staring at your phone, waiting for their name to appear. Typing, deleting, typing again. Convincing yourself, if I just say it right this time, maybe they'll care. But they didn't. They didn't reply. Or they replied late, cold, distracted. And you told yourself, they're just busy, I'll give them more time. So you waited, and every time they pulled away, you ran faster, harder, hoping they'd turn around, but they never did. This isn't connection. This is desperation dressed in hope. This isn't love. This is self-abandonment, one unanswered message at a time. And I want you to hear this clearly. You don't have to chase. You don't have to prove. You can stop. You can let them go. We don't chase people because we're desperate. We chase them because, deep down, we're wounded. Many of us learned early that love wasn't freely given, that we had to earn it, perform for it, fight for it. Maybe you were the child who felt invisible unless you got everything right. Maybe affection came only when you achieved something. Maybe approval was conditional. Smile the right way. Be easy. Be perfect. So you grew up believing, if I just do enough, they'll stay. If I fix myself, they'll finally love me. If I don't chase, I'll be alone. This isn't love. This is fear of abandonment wrapped in emotional effort. And that fear, it attaches itself to unavailable people, people who mirror our earliest wounds, people who trigger our need to be chosen. So you chase, not because you're weak, but because your heart was trained to associate love with pursuit. But it's not your job to convince someone you're worthy. That's not love. That's survival mode, and you deserve to feel safe in love, not exhausted. The longer you chase someone who doesn't want to be caught, the more you lose yourself. You smile less, laugh less, second-guess your every word. You ask yourself, am I too much? Am I not enough? What else can I do so they'll stay? You start watching their every move, trying to decode silence, trying to earn moments of attention as if they're oxygen. You begin to disappear, little by little. Your voice fades, your dreams are paused, your energy drains. You put their comfort above your dignity. You shrink so they don't feel overwhelmed. You dim your light hoping they'll find you softer, easier to love. And you call it love. But love doesn't ask you to shrink. Love doesn't live in confusion and cold shoulders. What you're chasing is not love. It's the hope that someone will make you feel whole so you don't have to do it yourself. But that's a dangerous hope, because while you chase them, you abandon you. Then comes the silence. Not theirs, yours. You stop sending the message. You stop checking if they're online. You stop trying to be someone they might finally want. And for the first time in a long time, you hear yourself again. It's a whisper at first. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like love. And then the whisper grows. This feels like fear. This feels like I'm losing myself. And eventually, you hear the truth. I deserve better than this. I shouldn't have to chase someone to feel chosen. I'm worth more than silence and second place. That's the turning point. Not when they come back, not when they apologize, but when you realize you no longer want to prove yourself to someone who never saw you to begin with. You ask, why am I running when I could be standing still and finally coming home to myself? Letting go isn't loud. It's not a dramatic goodbye or a slammed door. It's not about proving a point. Letting go is quiet, gentle, sacred. It starts with small moments. You stop rereading old conversations. You stop refreshing their social media. You stop waiting for the message that never comes. You stop hoping they'll change. And you start accepting that they won't. You begin to name your pain. You say, I feel rejected. I feel not enough. I feel abandoned. And instead of pushing it away, you sit with it. You breathe through it. You honor it. And in that space, you begin to understand. This wasn't about them choosing you. It was about you choosing yourself. Letting go also means forgiveness. Forgiving them, yes, for what they didn't give, for how they disappeared, for the way they made you feel small. But even more important, you forgive yourself for chasing, for hoping, for staying too long. You weren't foolish. You were loving with all you had. You didn't fail. You just outgrew the version of you who thought love had to be earned. Letting go is not the end of love. It's the beginning of healing. Choosing yourself is an act of rebellion in a world that teaches us to seek validation. It begins the moment you say, "I matter," even if they don't choose me. You stop shrinking to fit into someone else's mold. You start expanding into your true form. You set boundaries, not to keep people out, but to protect the parts of you that used to be too easy to hurt. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop over-explaining. You stop apologizing for simply existing. And in that shift, something magical happens. You feel peace. The kind of peace that doesn't come from someone else's approval, but from your own self-respect. You laugh louder, breathe deeper, stand taller, and suddenly, you're no longer chasing love because you've already found it. Inside you, you begin to realize you are not hard to love. You were just offering your love to someone who wasn't ready to receive it. Healthy love doesn't make you guess. It doesn't keep you waiting. It doesn't leave you confused. When you choose yourself, you stop looking for someone to complete you and start looking for someone to walk beside you. Equally. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman named Alara. She fell in love with a man who gave her just enough attention, just enough affection to keep her hoping. He never fully chose her, but he never fully let her go either. And so she chased. She rearranged her life for him. She stopped painting. She stopped going out. She said yes to things that felt like no. One day, he ghosted her. No warning, no goodbye, just silence. At first, she blamed herself. If I were more beautiful, more interesting, less emotional. She spiraled, she cried, she isolated. But then, something shifted. In the stillness of that silence, she heard a different voice, her own. It whispered, "You deserve better. You are still whole. This is your life, take it back." So she did. She picked up her paintbrush again. She traveled. She reconnected with old friends. She started laughing again, loudly, freely. And a year later, when she saw his name pop up on her screen again, she didn't feel hope. She felt peace, because she no longer needed him to return. She had returned to herself. Letting them go is not giving up. It's returning to your truth, to your alignment, to your inner rhythm. You were never meant to chase people. You were meant to rise, to grow, to attract what matches your light. Every time you silence your intuition to hold on to someone, you fall out of sync with your soul. And your soul, it always knows. It knows when you're overextending. It knows when you're loving out of fear. It knows when you're settling. Let them is not an act of bitterness. It's an act of trust. Trust that what's meant for you cannot be taken. Trust that your energy deserves reciprocity. Trust that true connection does not require performance. Some people come into your life as lessons, others as mirrors, few as home, but no one, not one single soul, is worth losing yourself for. You are not here to convince, to beg, to chase. You are here to expand. And those who are meant to stay will never require you to run after them. They will walk beside you, at your pace, with open hands and an open heart. So listen closely. You don't have to chase anyone. Not ever again. The one who is truly for you will never make you feel like you're too much or not enough or hard to love. They won't keep you guessing. They won't come and go. They won't make you prove your worth. They will stay. Not because you begged, not because you broke yourself to fit, but because they see you and they choose you. So let them go. The one who doesn't reply, the one who leaves you wondering, the one who never shows up. Let them go so you can finally show up for yourself. Because your time is sacred, your love is sacred, and your peace is priceless. You are not someone's maybe, you are someone's miracle. You are not meant to beg to be seen. You are meant to shine so brightly, those who are blind to your light simply fade into the background. So stop chasing, let them go, and watch what happens when you start choosing you. Every day, with every breath, without apology.